So, you know what's got everyone talking right now? It seems like everywhere online.
Let me guess. That new Novo Nordisk obesity drug.
Exactly. It's all over X this morning, April 19th. They're talking about, what, 25% average weight loss?
Yeah, the number itself is pretty staggering. It's definitely grabbing headlines.
But almost immediately you see the other side of the coin, right? The conversation shifts,
Right, to the cost. It's apparently around $1,500 a month.
which straight away makes you ask, okay, great results, but for who?
Precisely. And does it actually fix the underlying reasons people struggle with weight? That's the big question bubbling up.
Which is exactly why we wanted to do this deep dive today. We've got this potentially game-changing drug,
A major medical development, no doubt.
but we also wanted to bring in a different, maybe deeper perspective. You know, the one from The Body Keeps the Score?
Ah, Bessel van der Kolk's book, yes.
Yeah.
Oprah recommended it, and it's really struck a chord with people.
For anyone who hasn't read it, what's the core idea?
Well, essentially, van der Kolk argues that trauma isn't just like a mental thing. It deeply impacts our physiology. Our bodies literally keep the score
And that can show up physically.
in all sorts of ways, yeah. He suggests it can manifest in chronic health issues, pain, and potentially, yes, even things related to weight regulation.
Okay, so you can see the connection we want to explore then. We've got this powerful new medication.
Offering a significant sort of physiological intervention.
But then Van der Kolk is pointing towards these potential emotional, psychological roots.
It's a fascinating tension. Van der Kolk's work suggests that, for some, eating behaviors might be tied into managing emotional pain or stress.
Like a coping mechanism.
Sort of, yeah. Chronic stress, unresolved trauma. These things can actually mess with the hormonal systems that control appetite. So a drug might tweak those systems.
But maybe not address the original trigger.
That's the implication, potentially. It doesn't necessarily heal the wound, so to speak.
And when you think about the scale, what is it? Over 1 billion people globally dealing with obesity.
Yeah, it's a massive public health issue. Forbes actually projected earlier this year we might see peak levels around 2028.
So a drug like this could theoretically help so many.
Huge potential impact, absolutely. But then we circle back to that cost. And crucially, insurance coverage, especially in the U.S.
Right. Often these types of drugs aren't covered initially or at all.
Which creates a real equity problem, doesn't it? Who gets access to this potentially life-changing treatment? It risks making health disparities even worse.
So what are the other avenues if the drug isn't accessible or doesn't address the root cause for someone?
Well, that's where van der Kolk's perspective offers alternatives. He highlights things like mindfulness, yoga, EMDR therapies aimed at processing the trauma stored in the body.
A totally different approach, really, focused on like emotional healing first.
Exactly. Addressing the underlying causes rather than just managing the symptom and, thinking long-term.
There could be cost savings there too.
Potentially huge savings. Some models estimate billions, maybe $10 billion by 2030, if we invested more in addressing root causes, improving overall well-being, preventing related diseases.
And you mentioned Oprah earlier. Her influence here feels relevant, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Her recommendation of The Body Keeps the Score brought so much attention to that mind-body connection.
And she's always championed wellness, but also equity, hasn't she?
Right. So her voice resonates with these concerns about access and cost surrounding the new drug. She's definitely shaped the wellness conversation we're having in 2025.
Okay, so wrapping this up for our listeners, we're looking at this real dilemma. Amazing medical science.
Offering significant physical change. A potential tool for many.
But paired with this deep understanding from Van der Kolk that our emotional history lives in our bodies.
So the question becomes, what's a truly effective health solution? Is it just the newest pill, or does it need to be more holistic, more integrated?
And equitable, right,
Yeah.
available to more people.
That's key. Access is fundamental.
So here's something to maybe mull over. Picture someone using this new drug, losing a lot of weight, which is fantastic.
A real physical success story.
But if the underlying emotional stuff the trauma Van der Kolk talks about isn't addressed, what happens then? Could they relapse?
It's a possibility, isn't it, if the core issue persists?
Now imagine that same person, maybe after struggling, finds Van der Kolk's work. They start addressing the emotional side, finding healing there.
And perhaps that leads to more sustainable well-being, integrating both mind and body.
It just makes you think, doesn't it? About how medical breakthroughs and our own emotional landscapes need to work together somehow. Something to consider in your own health journey.